David pushed his supply cart through the sterile hospital corridors, the familiar squeak of the wheels echoing against the white walls. At 28, he had found his rhythm in this job delivering essential supplies to nursing units, maintenance, physical therapy, and pharmacy departments throughout the sprawling medical center. It wasn't glamorous work, but it was honest, and he took pride in keeping the hospital running smoothly. As an introvert who had never considered himself particularly charismatic or attractive, David approached his interactions with careful professionalism. He'd been trained to greet staff with a smile and a friendly, "Hello," basic customer service that made the difference between a pleasant workday and a cold, impersonal environment. In healthcare, where stress ran high and emotions were raw, these small moments of human connection mattered. David was especially mindful of how he carried himself around female colleagues. In today's climate, he understood that men could easily be misperceived, labeled as creepy or inappropriate for the smallest misstep. So he kept his interactions brief but polite, a quick greeting, efficient delivery, and a prompt departure. Most nurses appreciated his courtesy, offering genuine thanks before he moved on to his next stop. The fourth-floor nursing station had always been routine. 2 months ago, arriving with their weekly supply delivery, David had offered his standard greeting to the 2 nurses working behind their computers. "Hello, how are you today?" What happened next shattered his confidence. The younger nurse, someone he'd seen countless times but never really spoken to, turned to him with a look of pure disgust. Her voice was sharp, cutting through the quiet hum of the medical equipment. "Why do you always say hi when you walk in here? It's very unsettling." The words hit David like a physical blow. His face flushed with embarrassment and confusion as he stammered an apology and hurried away, his hands trembling slightly as he gripped the cart handle. Behind him, he heard her asking her colleague if he made her uncomfortable during deliveries too. The shame was overwhelming. Had he been making people uncomfortable this entire time without realizing it? That afternoon, David sat across from his manager, his voice barely above a whisper as he recounted the incident. She listened patiently, then reassured him that greeting colleagues was not only appropriate, but expected. "You didn't do anything wrong," she said firmly. "Don't let this shake your confidence." But it did shake him. For weeks afterward, David modified his behavior entirely when delivering to that floor. No more greetings, just a silent wave as he dropped off supplies and retreated as quickly as possible. The anxiety followed him home each night, replaying the encounter and wondering what invisible line he had somehow crossed. Then came the second confrontation. Last week, the same nurse approached him as he completed his delivery. Her tone was accusatory, her expression cold. "Why don't you speak when you deliver items anymore?" David's response was automatic, apologetic. "I'm sorry if I made you uncomfortable." He was already backing toward the exit, desperate to escape another confrontation. "Well, now you're being rude by not saying anything to us," she snapped, giving him that same disgusted look before storming off. The impossibility of the situation crashed down on him. Too friendly was unsettling. Too distant was rude. There was no right answer, no way to win. He apologized again to the remaining nurses and fled, his professional confidence in tatters. The sleepless nights that followed were filled with questions. What had he done wrong? How could basic courtesy be simultaneously too much and too little? Was this what workplace harassment felt like? Being trapped between contradictory demands with no path forward? Finally, David found the courage to return to HR and his manager. This time, they took decisive action. Within days, meetings were arranged with the nursing supervisor, shift leads, and HR representatives. The investigation was thorough, respectful, and ultimately revelatory. The resolution came as a surprise wrapped in understanding. The nurse who had tormented him for months finally approached with an apology. Her explanation was both heartbreaking and enlightening. A previous coworker at another job had crossed professional boundaries, leaving her hypervigilant and reactive to any male colleague's attempts at friendliness. Her paranoia had nothing to do with David's behavior and everything to do with her own unresolved trauma. "I understand you were just being polite," she admitted, her earlier hostility replaced by genuine remorse. "I didn't mean to make you feel uncomfortable." David accepted her apology graciously, but the experience had already left its mark. Those months of walking on eggshells, of second-guessing every interaction, of feeling like a potential threat simply for existing in a professional space, that weight wouldn't disappear overnight. The case was closed, no disciplinary action taken, and workplace harmony restored. But David's story raises uncomfortable questions about how we navigate professional relationships, gender dynamics, and the thin line between maintaining boundaries and creating hostile environments. What do you think about David's experience? Have you ever found yourself in an impossible situation where you couldn't win no matter what you did? Share your thoughts and similar experiences below. Your story might help someone else feel less alone.